Westchester County, New York. I'm on a mission to talk to 914 people in the 914. Today I'm in Peekskill at Division Street Guitars to talk to my friend Paulie. We talk about growing up in Westchester, the guitar shop, his music and his band, the Bluechips, and the general music scene in Westchester. And of course, we hit on his 3 favorite spots in the county. So let's get inside and have an awesome conversation. No need to be in the middle, just keep pushing forward. Grateful for all that's around here in the 914. Where in Westchester are you from, and what are some of your memories?
I am from Peekskill, New York, and born and raised. Love it here. And I think some of my favorite memories are, the one that came to mind was this thing called the Peekskill Celebration.
Okay.
So Indian Point, like Entergy, used to do like a carnival basically in like August. So it was like completely unrelated to like holidays and stuff.
Okay.
Oh my God, it was the best. Like everybody would show up. There'd be all these rides and vendors and fireworks. And I mean, especially as a kid, that was like the place to be. In the late summer, it's like everybody's getting excited for the celebration. It's the best. I loved it.
I feel like, because there's like a handful of those types of things that, like in this area, I guess. But I feel like Peekskill is this place where a lot of people probably like connect from like a little bit more north. And
yeah,
here.
exactly.
And then like, so it's Westchester, but then it could also be like the Putnam and the Dutchess people. And
yeah, I've always seen it as like the halfway point between the city and Poughkeepsie.
Yes,
it's kind of like right in the middle, which is cool, and it's like the top left corner of Westchester.
Yeah.
So like if I take you 5 minutes down the road, we're in Putnam. So we just made it, but it's good. I like it.
So we're here in Division Street Guitars.
Yes, we are. The world famous. Look at this place.
Lots of guitars around here. Let's talk about Division Street, you as a musician,
Sure.
and just a little bit of everything going on.
Division Street Guitars, we've been open since 2014. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's right. But it's almost 10 years. We're coming up on the 10th year anniversary,
awesome.
I think next September.
Nice.
Great place. It has roots in Ossining music. So like a lot of the older heads in Westchester, musicians will remember Ossining music, Bobby Galassi. I mean, it was the place before, it closed, and then, we ended up here. But we have roots in Ossining, and we opened up here. And, it's kind of just like, to me, it's the perfect store as a player. You know what I mean? We don't have like the collector grade museum stuff. We do sometimes, but most of it is just like right in the middle, affordable players pieces that, pretty much anybody can come in off the street and find something that'll work for them in their budget, which I just think is really important, especially in, the world these days. And we love everybody. We just want people to play music and have fun. So
yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's cool that there's still places like this that are like local based guitar shops.
Yeah,
we know of all the big players and like where like all of them buy, like a lot of people buy from those people, and it's like it's cool that there's a place that like isn't just like collector zone. Local guitar shop. It's like, oh no, if you're a young kid and you want to come in and like learn how to play guitar, we can sell you the guitar and then have the lesson for you.
Precisely right. And like we're just, that's always been our mentality, is to just help people. We're all on the same side of the equation because we're all musicians and players ourselves.
Right.
So we get it just as well as everybody else does. And we want to be inclusive to everybody. Like, if it's your first time getting a guitar, we don't want you to feel like you can't touch anything. I'm like, people come in, I'm like, dude, take it off the wall. Like, have fun, pick it up, smell it, like, check it out. It's like, the only rule is there's no rules. Just don't break anything, then you buy it,
Yeah.
But,
you break it, you buy it.
Yeah, exactly. But that honestly is the kind of the compliment we get the most, is that people come in here and they say, oh my God, like these mom and pop guitar stores don't exist anymore. It's like when everyone was a kid back in the day, they were everywhere, they were all over the place, but now we're kind of the last of a dying breed, and we take a lot of pride in that. It's fun.
It's dope. It's dope. Yeah. Let's talk about you as a musician in Westchester, what you do and everything you got going on.
Yeah, it's been a long time now, dude. I mean, I've been playing guitar for about 20 years. Yeah. I started performing live in Westchester when I was 11.
Yeah.
So I
was 12.
There you go.
I played my first show. It was 2005.
Yeah, we were young boys back in the day. And then you and I met probably not like long after that. We were probably
at least a decade. It's been at least a decade.
Totally. We've known each other.
Probably at least 20 years. Like probably 20 years old or something.
One fell swoop, baby. Shout out. But you know it. So, I mean, yeah, I started out, little guitar player kid, and then the big change for me was when I met, one of my best friends, and still my drummer to this day, Mr. Jake Albee. But this is a really cool story. So there was a band camp. We call it band camp because it's funny, but it's like a day camp where a bunch of kids who play music, all come together and they pair you into bands. Right? It was called day jams.
Dude.
Yeah. Did you go to day jams? Did you really? Oh my God. Yes. Okay. So
me and my longtime best friend, who were like when we connected, my buddy John and Sipo, we don't play in bands together anymore. We're still obviously buds, but like if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be playing music.
There
kind
you
of
go.
thing, and we went to day jams.
There you go. Okay, so just for people who don't know, recapping, day jams. It's like, basically a day camp that lasts about a week. And so you show up on the first day, they pair you into bands by age and ability and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And the whole goal is you write 2 songs that you have to perform on Friday. Exactly.
You go in Monday, you perform Friday. Yeah.
Exactly. So, they also used to teach you how to make your own merch and
album art,
draw backstage passes and lessons for your instrument and all this different kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
And I mean, it was just the best. And so it was in that first week that Jake was in another band and I was, in a different band, obviously. And I just heard him singing from outside the hall. I was like, who is that? Who is able to sing this well and play guitar at this age? Who is this guy? Yeah. So I go in and lo and behold, I mean, it took 5 minutes. He was just like, yeah, you want to come over sometime? I was like, yeah, sure. And I mean, literally the rest is history.
That's amazing.
We've just been playing together ever since.
Where was that? I don't even remember where it was, dude.
Film department at Purchase College.
Okay.
It moved around a little bit,
yeah.
But it was in the film building. And
yeah,
so it's it's all those rooms with
so long
this
ago,
one's red, this one's blue. I remember I could smell it just thinking about it. It's so funny.
I was 11.
Yeah,
12.
oh yeah.
I was 11 or 12 when we went to.
We were all
day jams.
You had to be little. That was the whole thing. And I have to say, big shout out, Jim Weingast, the man, the myth. He was the director of the camp. And I mean, had it not been for Jim and, putting up with all of us crazy little kids, there would not be as many connections as there are in the Westchester scene. I bump into counselors all the time.
That's so funny.
And they're all still playing out in the city. You'll just be on a gig in Manhattan. It's like, oh my God, here's this guy, here's that guy. It's everybody's around. And there's so many of those relationships that can be traced back to us all meeting at day jams. Very cool thing that happened.
So funny.
Love it.
So I haven't thought about that in years, to be honest with you. It's one of those things. So let's talk about your band now, the Bluechips, and what you got going on.
I mean, Bluechips, it's been about almost 6 years now that we've been a band, which seems insane.
Yeah.
One of the first shows we ever played was at your old venue.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Long time ago.
That's funny.
The Donk, baby. Okay. Shout out. And yeah, we've just been kind of cruising along ever since. It's been a nice, steady pace. We've put out 3 albums total now.
Amazing.
And this November, next week, we're playing at the Paramount Theater for the 3rd time as a band. We're very, very excited.
So it's a big space.
It's a barn, baby. But what's cool about it is we do a nice, modest amount of people in there, and like we were kind of talking about earlier, I think for, a lot of the people that follow our band, we play in bars, we play in basements, we play in, pretty much anywhere we can in Westchester whenever we can. And so when our fans...
a ton of options.
Yeah, I mean, there could be more, as we've spoken about, but we'll save that for another episode. But no, I mean, for our fans, I think it's really cool when, they get the opportunity to go see us at, a proper venue, a proper theater that happens to be in the town where, a lot of our fans reside. It's really, it's just like it's a nice, it's heartwarming, because it's always around the holidays and I get to see people that I haven't seen in a million years. It's kind of around my birthday too, usually. So I'm always jazzed up when it comes to this time of year because I just get so excited. It's really, really fun.
Awesome. It's exciting, man. It's cool that you're probably one of the only local bands I would imagine that plays that venue.
Somehow, some way.
Is there anybody else on the bill? I don't even know.
No, it's just us. So we're going to do 2 sets that night. We're going to do the first set kind of classic Bluechips, just the power trio lineup, me, Tom Davis, Jake Albee.
Cool.
And then afterwards, in the second set, we're going to play our entire newest record cover to cover. So it's a double album. It's 18 tracks total. It's a lot. But because of that, we're going to have an extended band, which is really fun.
Cool.
So we've got Nick and TJ from Imposters.
Okay.
We've got Bianca from Moon Unit.
Cool.
And we've also got the lovely Julia Zivic, who's a fantastic singer. Happens to be my girlfriend. I'm a little biased, but
Nice.
I mean, it's a crew. It's
that's
like we're really excited. Had rehearsal last night. Everything sounds great. We're really looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Awesome, man.
Check out our new record. It's called What If It's Over. Mastered by Mr. Matt Laboza back there. Engineered and mixed by Jake Albee. Check both of them out. Masters at their craft.
Let's talk about music education in Westchester.
Oh, baby. Let's do it.
I spent a lot of years teaching lessons. That's how I made my living for about 6 or 7 years. I have slowed down on that. Actually don't do it at all anymore.
Cool.
But let's talk. Yeah, I'd like to talk about just like lessons for younger kids. Like, how do younger people get involved in music in Westchester? Because I get that question a lot from people. Like, where do I start? How do I do this? Especially since there is kind of like a lack of music venues.
Yeah.
There's kind of like a lack of space for them to like even experience it
Exactly.
to start.
Yep.
You know? So, yeah, what would you say about that? I know you teach lessons, so we can talk a little about.
There's a few things.
Okay.
You know, like the scenario I see happen the most is, you know, people will come in this store, for example.
Yeah.
The world famous Division Street Guitars, that is.
Yeah.
And they'll come in looking for, you know, just a starter guitar. But all of us happen to be very well versed, you know, in resources for people in the music world. So I would say a really good start is, if you're going to get your first instrument, ask the staff, because chances are they're musicians in Westchester and they know quite a bit about, you know, who, what, where, when, why, all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
So that's a really good place to just source some information, you know, real information, not just like clickbait kind of thing.
Right.
And then, you know, from there, you can always get private instruction with me or any of the lovely teachers in Westchester. I'm happy to refer you to a million of them.
Yeah. Because there's like, that's the other thing too, is like, Westchester's so big.
Yeah.
That like, they're like, yeah, you want lessons in your area? Like, that makes sense. And a lot of times people will travel too. Like, I used to travel. I used to drive everywhere to teach lessons.
Oh, dude. You and me both, baby.
I was like, oh, yeah, I got to go to Rye, Mamaroneck, and
Yep.
then I'm going over to Dobbs Ferry.
Oh,
and then I got
man.
2 in Yonkers. And then, yeah.
Every week, dog. You know how it goes. Oh, man. You know all the like the best fast food spots to like stop at. It's like, oh, I have 5 minutes. I'm gonna do a mobile order at Dunkin', so I'm not like drowsy during this lesson. Dude,
Totally.
that's how it goes.
Yeah, but yeah, it's like there's definitely resources, but I would say that it is harder. I feel like maybe I'm just out of it a little bit, but like when we were younger, like it was pretty easy to experience music, and I think that for me, I know like where I was, there was the Bronx Underground was like a huge thing, and that was like pretty close to home. But then there was an offshoot of that called Yonkers Underground. Yeah. And the shows were all ages. Like, all the shows were all ages.
That's the best.
It was like a way to experience it and be like, oh, I want to be a part of this. But
Yeah.
that doesn't exist as much, at least not that I know of anymore.
You know, I kind of feel like within the next 10 years or something, we're going to see a lot more of that.
I hope so.
And, you know, this is kind of like an old conversation that we had, but I had put up a Facebook status like a million years ago, just kind of talking like in depth about this topic. And the coolest like example that I've ever found is this thing called the Vera Project in Seattle, Washington. And it's a city-funded program where they basically, you know, take in kids that are interested in music and give them everything that they need, you know, and more to kind of, you know, get involved in the culture. And so they have a venue that hosts national touring acts, and they, like, the requirement in the contract is that a local band has to open the show. So, like, something like that alone is, like, nuts, let alone everything else that they do in teaching people how to screen print and, you know, teaching music lessons and, you know, music industry classes and stuff like that. I think that Westchester certainly has the capability to do that. It's just a matter of making it happen. And from what I've seen, I mean, you know, you've had all these new, like, there's a bunch of School of Rocks now, for example. And that's another great way for kids to just get, you know, playing with bands, as you know.
Yeah, no, that is good because I would teach lessons a lot, like in someone's house, like I would go to their house, but then I would actually recommend them to go to a school of rock for the band thing. I'd just be like, 'cause,
Exactly.
like, then I can work with you on the stuff one-on-one here.
Yes.
And then you go and you play with like 4 other kids and like,
Well, I mean-
and then you get the experience of going to play live too because they bring you
Exactly.
out to play live and whatever.
And, there's only so much that you can get out of, playing with a teacher or just playing along to songs in your room. I think that the real growth happens when you start playing with other people. And that is just where it goes from being like a hobby to being like, oh man, all right, yeah, no.
It's like a reason to hang out with your friends.
Of course. I mean, it's like it just starts there and just goes endlessly. I mean, there's just nothing better than playing music with other people.
Yeah.
And then when you guys play in front of other people, it's just, it's communal and it just feels good, man. It's the best.
It's why we're still out here doing it. And like I always say, like the newest song we just wrote and like haven't put out yet is like just about being broke but not being able to stop because you're just so obsessed with it.
I always tell people there's a couple things, like you have to be a certain kind of crazy to be like, a DIY musician. That's number one. Like only the strong survive. The other thing that I always say very seriously is you better love it.
Oh, you have to.
You better love it, because if you don't, you're going to get tripped up, dude.
Yeah.
And, I mean, again, it's in, those kind of darkest moments that, if you're passionate enough, like, you will prevail. And when you get to the end of that road, there's nothing better. I mean, you just got to keep on keeping on.
Name 3 of your favorite spots in Westchester.
Okay, this is a tough one, but I've been thinking about it. So, first spot, as of late, whenever I get free time, I always find myself at Rockwood Hall, which we decided it's on the backside of Phelps, so it's like Sleepy Hollow, Tarrytown area.
Yep.
Used to be a crazy mansion there. Look up the pictures if you're curious, but the property is probably some of the best former real estate in Westchester. I mean, the view and the walk, all of it is a magical spot.
Nice.
Absolutely love it.
Cool.
All year round too. It's pretty rad.
Okay.
But that's number 1. Number 2, I gotta say, whenever my girlfriend and I, are having a tough time, just need a little bit of comfort food, the one place we always go is Capriccio's in Croton. As an Italian kid, some of my favorite Italian food that you can buy in Westchester, and known those people my entire life. Croton spot. It's literally the best. You will not be disappointed. It's my favorite spot.
I have to trust the Paulie Beladino.
Come on, my name's Paulie Pasta Beladino. You're not gonna get my recommendation? What's the deal? But no, that's 2. Number 3, I gotta say, my favorite places in Westchester. It does have to be Division Street Guitars. I mean,
Here.
yeah, we are here, but I mean, you can imagine my surprise as a kid growing up in Peekskill, never having a music store close enough to walk to or anything like that. I mean, you should have seen my face when I saw the window on that first day and I met Paul and all the guys. I mean, it legitimately changed my life. And I think a lot of other people can say that. That's awesome. Because there are people that have come in here, no experience, they've got their first instrument, and they're still playing music to this day. Like, watching that whole thing happen, for me and for other people too, I mean, that's a beautiful thing, man. And I think that's why it has to be my 3rd favorite spot. You can't beat it. Can't beat DSG, baby.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for doing this, dude.
My man. Give me a shake.